now what we're trying to do is just get the comments flowing so that way Facebook and YouTube and all the algorithms can know that people are on here. This is happening, and it is. And that this is a party, so that way it can send more people here so Made with Love can actually get made.
Yeah, exactly. People wonder why do they want us to say something in the chat? Well, because this is what it's all about. It's community, and it gets the algorithm going. So thank you.
Yeah, it's 2 in 1. You get two good things. So
I see some folks from New Jersey, Florida. Excellent.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Excellent. We're already getting questions,
yes,
which we will get to.
So please do send your questions in the chat as well. And I will be over here highlighting those so we can come back to them at the end of the stream. So stay tuned till the end. We will have a special Q&A with the writer, director, the filmmakers of Made with Love. North Carolina, hello from Georgia, Los Angeles. This is amazing.
St. Louis.
Excellent. Nebraska. So it's great. It's great. We're getting the party stirred up and going. So first, we're just gonna introduce us.
Who are we?
Who are these guys?
Look, we have the same shirts on here.
we haven't showered in years.
Man, it's making movies. It's 24/7. So still wearing the same outfit.
Didn't plan that out too well.
No, we didn't.
But who are the two guys on the other side there?
It's really blurry. I don't recognize.
Well, that's because it was from back in the early 2000s. Resolution wasn't as good then. Shot on a little camcorder.
That's right. So what is a father and son filmmaking duo? Well, it's when a father and son get together and they think they're going to make some films,
make some movies.
So the image you see there with the kid in the black shirt and the red pants, that was this guy when he was 6 years old, and he came up with an idea for a movie and wanted me to film him, and we spent a whole day, one weekend running around the backyard filming this thing that ultimately ended up being called Jackson Sneaky. And it was about this little kid who was sneaking around, the house or whatever. And he wrote the whole thing. It was like, here, shoot me doing this, doing this. And I had some editing skills, so I edited the little film together. And what was the music? It was from Madagascar. There was some like spy music, sneaky
track,
music.
The heist, and that's a clip from the ending scene where that's our old back porch, but those bars were used as the jail. You were like the policeman or whatever, and you were arresting the burglar at the end there. Guy. And then I break the fourth wall and I take off my mask and I go, "It's just me, Jackson. I'm not a real burglar. I'm just playing with you." So that's sort of the end. But anyway, now you edited that back then. Now I'm editing. I've taken on the editing thing. You're directing, and really that film is not too different than how like Made with Love came about, where Jay, our good friend, was like, let's make a movie, and
let's make a movie about me.
Right. And he's been leading the whole process. Just like back then, I was like, all right, what do we do? Jay, we get on calls with him weekly, almost daily, and give him updates, and he helps us form our next marketing strategies. So
yeah, he's full of ideas. So going forward from that Jackson Sneaky, Jackson got into doing Lego reviews. And so he started a YouTube channel and started making videos, and I jumped in to help him a little bit. And we made a parody of Gangnam Style and called it Lego Style. And what's the latest count? I mean, back then it blew up. It got over 10 million views.
15 million views.
15 million views. So that was another, progression in our filmmaking foray. Meanwhile, I'm not in filmmaking at all. I'm the director of marketing for an independent school. But I did marketing videos and did videos with the kids at the school to try to teach them filmmaking. And Jackson ended up getting an internship in Atlanta, Georgia with what was Turner Broadcast, now Warner Media.
Right.
Continuing along. And then about 3 years ago, God tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I want you back in filmmaking." So quit my job, sold my house, and moved to Atlanta in the middle of the pandemic. And Jackson moved in with me, and here we are working on making Made with Love.
That's right. And thank you all for who are responding in the chat and tuning in here from North Georgia mountains.
Yeah.
People sharing about their aunt who had Down syndrome.
She passed away. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
We're inspired by your stories.
People sharing in the comments. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. And really just before we continue, we'll talk about the schedule for what's on the stream. But I just want to give you all a sincere thank you, because it's literally the people that are here right now. You are getting this made, and you are the team. You are the family. It's like it started with me and my dad and Jay and our weekly calls of how are we going to get this movie made, to spread love. And that's always been the motive, is how can we make the world a better place and spread more love? And you are just the help that we need.
That's right.
We need you.
You are going to make this movie with love, with your love. So thank you very much.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit and learn more about Made with Love. We're going to share your stories because, man, we have started building a community on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and we're getting stories shared with us that are just so inspiring. And it's really what drives us. Making movies is not an easy task to do. And so we love your stories. They just urge us on to keep working hard. Mm-hmm. Then at the end, we'll have a moment of time where we can answer some questions. And then, of course, we're going to end up with a dance party.
Yeah. So
Friday night.
If you're ready,
Saturday night. Saturday night
dance party. So if you're feeling like dancing for, a little 30 seconds or something at the end, you're welcome to join in. And even if you've got your phone handy and you've got a loved one that loves to dance nearby and they want to join in, record it, take pictures, send it to tag us in it, and we'll repost it after this stream.
Absolutely. And I see we got a question that says, how can we help you make this movie? We'll get to that. We'll definitely talk to that point. So we appreciate it.
And right now, if you can share this stream with anybody that is a huge thing right now. I see so many loyal people here. I see so many names and profile pictures that we recognize. And once again, thank you. You are the Made with Love family. It's so good to see your faces here. And I'd love to see new faces in the comments too. So let's try to, we love this time. Let's not keep it to ourselves.
That's right.
Let's spread it out there.
Let's share the love. I mean, that's what we say. So,
all right.
Excellent.
Yeah. So let's talk about Jeff.
Who's this?
Yes. I have to give a great shout out to this awesome individual. He's watching right now, him and his family. This is awesome guy. His name's James Wheeler. Shout out to James Wheeler and his family. I met him today on the lunch break. He is awesome. He works at a little cafe called Liberty Station here in Murfreesboro on Broad Street. Make sure you check them out if you're in the area. But he is an incredible guy. He has got a huge following on TikTok as well. So shout out to Jay. There's his mom saying they're here. Hey.
Awesome.
They're watching. Awesome.
Yeah. So Jeff is a super fan. Jeff is an amazing guy. He came on board early on, found us. He has his own podcast. He interviewed us. He's just promoted us so many times in so many ways on Facebook and beyond. And we've just become great friends. Can't say enough about Jeff. And we're going to talk about Jeff's story as well a little bit later, how this movie has touched him. And this is what we're so excited about, that we're just in the beginning stages of trying to raise the money to get this film done. And it is already touching people and changing lives, raising awareness and educating people about our wonderful friends with Down syndrome.
And not just me, so many.
That's right.
So many.
Yeah. So that's Jeff. He's going to be our host tonight. Help us get through this. He's an old hat at getting this live stream stuff going.
He helped us set this up. He knows how to do this. So
if we bumble around, please forgive us. Jeff's going, hey, come on, guys, get your act together.
Yes.
So, all right.
So I believe, Jeff, you'll take it away with your hosting.
Yes. Man, I tell you, my hat's off to you guys anyway, and to others that helped even bring this to my mind. And I'll even say, Dawn was the first one to tell me about it, and I'm so grateful God used her to tell me about your movie project and you guys. I think of you all as personal family the way it is. You really are great people. And Jay, I can't wait to meet him. He is awesome. From all the videos and everything I've seen, he is so talented and awesome. There he is with his mom. How did you two get to know him to begin with?
So this is a picture of Jay and his adoptive mother, Dawn. a different Dawn. We were talking about Dawn Long,
Yes,
that you
right.
know, who's also a super fan. But this is Jay's adoptive mother, Dawn. So I grew up with Dawn. We were in middle school and just great friends with her and her family. And then probably 10 years ago or so, one of her daughters went to school with Jay, and she wanted to adopt Jay, but she was headed off to college. And so her mom, Dawn, said, look, you can't take Jay to the dorm room with you. I'll adopt him. And they are just fast friends. They spend so much time together. Dawn's a successful businesswoman, but they hang out all the time. She takes him to meetings, and it's just a beautiful relationship that they have. So Jackson and I met Jay probably about 7 years ago or so, and formed a bond over coloring. One of Jay's favorite pastimes is coloring, and he is a prolific artist at coloring. And you see he uses Sharpie, so that's just that's dedication, because you're dedicated. Sharpie, that's permanent ink. You're going for it, and so we'll sit down and just spend hours coloring with Jay and getting to know Jay, and that's where our discussions about movie making began. He learned that we made movies, and he wanted to be a star. So our relationship just developed over time, and Jay has changed our lives.
Absolutely.
And now we are dedicated to Jay 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're working, and we're going to do everything we can to get this movie made that's inspired by our friend Jay.
That's right. Yeah, he calls us up and he says, what are you guys doing? And it's like, I guarantee you, Jay, we were just looking at your face enlarged on our computer screen, designing the next poster.
That's right.
Editing a video about you.
Or he'll call us out like, are you working on the movie? Come on, what are you doing? You guys aren't sitting over there watching TV, are you? I got some ideas for you. He's always calling with marketing ideas. Hey,
That's awesome.
We need to do YouTube. We should go meet the governor. I mean, he's just all over the place. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So we're really blessed to have met Jay, and the feeling is mutual. He says it back. He's like, I'm so grateful that our paths crossed. I mean, that his grandma had told him to shine his light out to the world, and he took that as, I want to be an actor and be in movies. Yeah. And so it really is like just beautiful that our paths cross for him, because, and he said this, he's like, I'm grateful to God that we got to meet, because now I can shine my light out. And to us, it's like, this is so cool. Like, I never knew when we first met Jay coming down here to Atlanta. I was working at Warner Media, working in the offices and everything. I never knew that like we could be spending time with Jay this much. So it's really a beautiful thing, because our friendship with him has been able to grow so much deeper on this project. And it's only going to continue, because we're going to get to shoot a whole movie with him. So
That's right. So that's how we got to know Jay.
Yep.
That's so cool. That is so cool. That's so cool. Another question. I mean, you haven't started filming yet. There's nowhere to watch it other than your promo, right? I mean, where can they can't watch it yet?
Exactly. So we get that question a lot, because it looks like it might already be a finished film. But we are in the early stages, as you see, of raising money to shoot the film. Our goal is to raise $2 million. We've had, look at that, over 3,300 beautiful people have donated their hard-earned money to this project, because they know that it's something that needs to be made. We're almost to $200,000. I mean, we're just less, a little more than $2,500 away from that. Maybe we can get to that goal tonight. But yeah, so our goal is to put this in theaters, but we've got to raise the money first. Actually, shooting the film is probably the smallest bit of making a movie. We'll shoot maybe 20, 25 days or something like that. But all the pre-production, the development, the raising the money, and then the post-production where you edit, and then the marketing and getting out into theaters, takes a lot of time. So, our hopes is to get this done within about a year from where we are now. So it all depends on how quickly we raise that money.
Yeah, we could be shooting it a lot sooner if we get to 200,000 tonight, and hit that, up. It's just only a little under $3,000 we would need to raise tonight. And I've donated $1,000 in the first round of crowdfunding. I donated $1,000 of my own personal money. I mean, I'm working for this full time.
That's right.
But I did actually donate $1,000 of my own money. Jeff, you've donated multiple times, and it's not like you're Leonardo DiCaprio or anything, you know. Where,
I don't know. He kind of looks like.
well,
Leonardo.
no, in that sense, like looks wise,
Yeah.
you're like Leonardo DiCaprio. But I'm saying in the sense that you're not Brad Pitt, this guy who executive produces the movies he's in because he's got billions of dollars, you know. So you have given out of faith multiple times,
Yes,
and I think if we get more people like that, and we do have more people like that already, just out of those 3,000 people, those are the people that are going to get this movie made.
That's right.
And, you know, might I say, $2 million, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not that much money when it comes to filmmaking. When you look at all these other motion pictures out there that have hit theaters, and if you hear about them and hear about, sometimes they'll say how much it took to make them and stuff. $2 million is actually really conservative, to be quite honest.
Right. And that is another question we get a lot. It's like, wow, why do you guys need that much money? Well, it's not that much money when it comes to Hollywood. And the reason we're looking for that is because we know that it's going to take at least that to make the quality type of film that an audience will accept and go watch, that they don't think looks bad or looks low budget or looks cheesy or whatever. Because, you know, our goal is to get this spread as wide and as far as possible, because we're trying to raise awareness for Down syndrome, and just, you know, spread that love that needs to get out to the world. I don't think anybody can disagree that the world needs more love right now. So
absolutely,
you know, if we make this and make it at a quality level, then we're going to get the distributors who will put it out in the theaters, and the public will go and see it, and they'll go, this is a good looking film. Let's suggest this to our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're doing crowdfunding, because I don't think not everybody knows what crowdfunding is. And what is crowdfunding, and why are you doing crowdfunding?
So, yeah, I mean, crowdfunding's been around for a while. Some people might be familiar with something like GoFundMe. There are other platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo that are more maybe product-based. There are some other ones that are investment-based, but it's getting more and more popular. Some films are made that way. But the reason we chose it, for one, is, and people will ask, why not Hollywood? We could have gone that route, but then if somebody at a big studio gets involved, then there's going to be people telling you how to make the film, and, you know, wanting to put their hand in the pie. And, you know, we want to make sure that it's a film that puts our friends with Down syndrome in the best light possible. And so we want to keep our creative control for that reason. So we chose crowdfunding, and also because, you know, made with love. We want this to be made with the love of people who love people with Down syndrome. And this way you get to choose the content that you want to see made. You're not forced something by Hollywood or a big studio or a big corporation or whoever that's funding these bigger projects. So it's harder. It's harder for us. I mean, this film's already won over 40 awards worldwide, and I'm sure if I went out to Hollywood, I could probably get it made, you know, really soon. But there's something special about having, you know, you guys help make this film. And so if you have donated, or you do donate, I want you to consider this your film. I want you to tell people, I'm making a film, because you are.
Yeah, and it ends up being truly made with love, not truly made with Hollywood.
That's right.
We'd have to change the name otherwise.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. That brings to this next question. There's other movies with actors with Down syndrome in them as well. Why do we need more?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I mean, so part of what in our marketing, we say we want to be the first film, crowdfunded film, with an actor to star an actor with Down syndrome. And people come back and go, well, what about Peanut Butter Falcon? Well, it wasn't crowdfunded. So that's a little difference.
And there's other films that are being crowdfunded right now, and they're going to have someone with Down syndrome. And so it's not a race to the finish line or anything. That word on there, more, is the highlighted word. Is like, we want, if there can be 20 Marvel movies in this Marvel superhero cinematic universe, and now we're building it with Batman and DC, why can't there be 20 movies and growing about starring around people with different abilities, in different types of roles and different stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So that our Facebook page, we get a lot of folks, not just some that know somebody with Down syndrome, but other abilities, I will say, you know, whether it's cerebral palsy or whether it's different. There's a lot of different syndromes out there. Autism. I mean, there's all these different, you know, folks with special abilities that need to be highlighted and need to have their time. And so this film just happens to be about our friend Jay. You know, we can't make a film with everybody, but we're going to make this film with Jay and hopefully raise a little more awareness, educate people a little more, have people open to understanding or looking into finding out more about these different individuals. So that is our goal, and that's why we need this film. One of our good friends is Chris Dowling, and he did a movie called Where Hope Grows. Beautiful film. And when I saw that film, I was like, I don't need to make a film. He's done a great job, so why should I make it? And he said, no, man, you need to make your movie, and we need to make many more. So that's why we do it.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people may not know exactly what this movie is about or anything. Shall we look at a quick clip, and then we'll dig a little deeper in what is Made with Love about?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Made with Love is about a jaded old teacher who looks at retirement as an opportunity to open his dream cafe. But when he meets a young neighbor with Down syndrome,
I'm me.
the two of them develop a friendship that changes the way the man sees the world and his role in it. Our hope is that our film helps raise the level of acceptance and appreciation for people with Down syndrome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, you know, a relationship movie about a transformative relationship between this young man with Down syndrome and this old jaded school teacher who's gone through some rough stuff in his life, and his heart's cold. I mean, I think about the Grinch, you know, how his heart had to get melted and warmed. It's kind of a similar type story, the kind of a love story between this old man and this young man, his young neighbor with Down syndrome. And so it changes their lives, it changes their outlooks. And so it's a character-driven film. And ultimately it's a beautiful film.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, when I read the script, immediately I was like, I've got to do whatever I can to help get this made. And I've had, with my editing abilities, I've had a lot of jobs offered to me and everything, but I realized I was like, I've got to go all in on getting Made with Love. This is so important because the character arc of Mr. Morrow, he's this jaded old, like you said, like Grinch sort of character, but I related to him myself. And for the reason of he had this plan and this purpose for his life. And he thought, this is my purpose. I've designed it, as you see in this storyboard here that's beautifully done by our storyboard artist who lives in France. He's baking, this is like sort of his dream. He's baking in his cafe in the back kitchen all alone, the spotlight on him. He's getting his dream by himself, nobody interrupting it, all to himself. Finally, he gets his dream and his peace and quiet. And I sort of could see that with myself with filmmaking. Oh, I want to go make my movies and get my stories told and do this. But what happens is he realizes that maybe the purpose he had in mind for himself is nowhere near as meaningful as the purpose that truly was laid out for his life, which was Jay crossing paths with him, as you see in that image there of Jay knocking at his door. And by the end, he's not alone in the kitchen. He has many friends, and we see that that's actually way more meaningful than the dream that he first imagined for himself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all might think we know what our purpose in life is, but sometimes higher power has a different idea, and it can turn out to be even more beautiful than what we thought. So that's kind of the way the story goes.
I believe a lot of people will be able to identify with a lot of parts of this movie. Just that character alone, I think a lot of people will be able to identify because, you know, when you see or meet somebody with Down syndrome, if you're don't know much, you know, and you can be a little off, not sure what you should say or do or whatever, and that kind of stuff. Or you might have a different picture in your head of people with Down syndrome. So I think it's a relatable character for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, you know, everybody looks different, but there's something, you know, somebody with Down syndrome, they look different. You know, like Jay, his speech sometimes is hard to understand. He may act different or whatever. So people are, you know, afraid of that. And that's what we want to show with this film, is that if you break through that and you get to know somebody with Down syndrome, your life is going to be enriched more than you would ever know. And, you know, it's just like the speech thing. I mean, it took me a while to be able to understand Jay, but Jay will repeat himself, you know, and I'll ask him and he doesn't mind. And, you know,
we have to repeat ourselves to each other.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm from Alabama, so my accent kind of gets a little thick at times. So yeah, you know, so that's what we hope to do with this film, is just say, hey, look, you know, get to know somebody with Down syndrome, because it might change your life.
Yeah, and I can attest to that myself personally, because way back in October when I was first getting to know you guys, I remember you said that same thing on our interview, and I can attest to it completely, 100%. And you've seen me kind of transition even myself over the last 6, 7, 8 months since then. And you're 100% right, 1,000,000% right. You know, you truly are. When you start to meet people, I'm volunteering at a place here in town every few weeks. And you get to meet these people. They're wonderful people. They have so much joy. You're not just saying it just because you want to make a movie and because you know Jay. It's truly true. I mean, really true. I mean, it's not even something, it's really almost hard to explain. So I always tell people, you know, I encourage people the same way you encourage people to get out and do something, meet some people. It's okay. They won't bite you. They're cool. They're really so full of love and joy. It'll blow your mind. It really will.
And even beyond Down syndrome. I mean, that's what I hope is just anybody, you know, there's so much division among people and races and cultures and, you know, nationalities or whatever. Get to know somebody.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing, is just don't be standoffish, because you just never know what a beautiful person you might encounter.
Well, and what I love about Mr. Morrow specifically, and what this specific story will do, is that Mr. Morrow isn't a hateful character. We don't set him up as this guy who actively hates people. He doesn't ever hate Jay. He doesn't actively have anything against people with Down syndrome. And I think, you know, what you're talking about is like getting to know these people. Is we want to have an experience through this story, kind of the lesson that, you know, it's not an like work through it. Somebody might be different, but it's not an inconvenience to go out of your, you know, to know somebody. And some people might think, well, I've got my dream of opening a cafe, and I don't have time to speak with somebody who speaks a different language, or I don't have time to get to know somebody because I'm so focused on doing my thing. And I think that's really illustrated with Bert's sort of desire to go be alone and not have anybody bother him. And that's what's unique about this, is his arc isn't that he hates people with Down syndrome. It's that he thinks, oh, this is going to take away time from something that is more important. But it's sort of shifting what truly is important. Is it that you achieve your goals for your life, or that you connect with people and experience love?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. 100%. So another question I think you hear a lot is, I don't have money to donate. What can I do?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, for all those that do donate, we appreciate you at whatever level it is. You know, we have on our website $5 and up. So we appreciate every donation, and it's getting us closer every time. If you don't have money and can't donate, your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
We will take those every single day, because this is not an easy task we've undertaken. So we need those, or just share with your friends, share it on social media, talk to somebody about it. You know, all of that helps to get us out there, because the more people we get in front of, the more likely we're going to be able to raise the money needed to make the film. So,
right. Just like a very tangible way, like if you're, you know, a lot of people on here, you're our supporters, you're already following us. So if you're following us, commenting on every post we make, and you don't even have to, you know, once again, getting the algorithm stirred up. When people see comments on something, they go, oh, this is a real thing. And we've seen people pour out their hearts in comments. So I know I don't have to ask people to do that, because we've seen people just showing up with so many genuine comments. But, you know, if you're like, how can I help more? Just sending an emoji a laughing emoji on a funny video we do or something, or sharing it to your story, which once again, thank you so much. Like, everybody here is so awesome, and you're already doing this stuff. So, just for anybody new who wants to know how they can help, is sharing each post we make to their story on Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, sharing it to your feed and writing a quote about it saying, hey, I donated to this. Or if you couldn't donate, saying, hey, I'm following along with this, and I think you should too. And I think this really needs to get made.
Yes, thank you. And if you want to donate, you can go to madewithlovethemovie.com.
That's right.
That's right. We take PayPal, we take credit cards through Stripe. So, and we are doing this through a nonprofit, a 501(c). So you get full, tax advantage for doing it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, which is
really
a
cool
big deal. So madewithlovethemovie.com, and just share that. I mean, share that out to your friends. If you could just share that with 2 people, that would be amazing. Power of multiplication.
I see someone now just shared it right now. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your prayers. Everybody who's been praying,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just, if you're just thinking about us, it really warms my heart, and it means so much to us. It really does. So thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Did you, when did we want to hit any questions or stories or what?
Yeah.
Let's go through some of these stories. Let's talk about the wonderful people that we're engaging with. And, this is what just motivates us and moves us and shows us that, I mean, really, we thought we were doing a film that's inspired by our friend Jay, but it's turning out to be a voice for so many people. It's your story. So, and that's just so encouraging for us. We see that it's beyond us, and that we need to do whatever it takes to get this thing out there.
Yes. And I just want to remind everybody, continue to send in questions. If you have any questions that you want us to answer at the end, specific questions, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. I'm over here. I can see the comments. I'll be highlighting them, so we'll come back to them at the end. I've already got 3 highlighted. So
these are some of the stories that we've received through our Facebook page or Instagram that have really touched us. And we'll read them and then talk a little bit about them. I can see this. This was not so small.
Okay.
So this wonderful lady said, I had to share with you and let you know that I listened to a podcast yesterday. So I was on a podcast recently that she came across. It was absolutely beautiful, stunning, and amazing. I cried through, I laughed through, and loved very much through. You have changed my life. All about this story with Jay. Keep it up, and God bless you, my son. I'm just an old lady handicapped with 1 leg. But this has changed me for the better. Half of faith without works is dead. I'm going to lean in a little bit harder, as what you and that lady talked about yesterday. I wish I had the money to send you, but just know that you're in my heart and my prayers, and I'm going to share this with everybody. And maybe somebody with more money than me absolutely have to know when this movie is made. Thank you. God bless. And please tell Jay I love him. So just amazing. I mean, I can just picture this wonderful lady there who's missing one of her legs, but she was moved by the story on the podcast. So, I mean, this is what, it's a voice for people just like her. This is the love that we need to get out to the world. So many stories that we've received just like this, that people are connecting with Jay and feeling his love. And if we can do that through just our little funny marketing videos or our promotional videos and our Facebook page, just imagine what a feature film, with expert actors can do. And then Brandy said, love it. You made my day. So another thing is we've gotten a lot of people who are saying, man, I can't wait to get up and get on the Facebook page and see what you and
it's
Jay
like the
are
highlight.
doing.
It's my daily routine or my weekly routine. It's a highlight of my day. I look forward to starting my day like this, a cup of coffee and Jay, so.
Yeah. So we get so many comments like this one.
Shout out to Brandy.
Yeah. Shout out to Brandy. She's a super fan as well. Jackson, you'll have to read that one. It's so small. I can't read it.
Thank you for showing me this. The termination rate was actually higher when Jacob was a baby. I remember a lady in a salon asking me if I could have him terminated. If I could have terminated him.
Yeah.
The old me would have been seeing red. And although I was taken back a bit, I stayed calm. And we've seen stories like this where somebody sees a parent with their child with Down syndrome in a store and says, is that disease contagious, or different comments like that, or, So in this case, they were saying, couldn't you have terminated him?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I told her that I couldn't because he's my son, and that I felt that Down syndrome wasn't bad, just different, good different. I told her about the termination rate and how I'd gotten the prenatal diagnosis and discovered the next day that only 2 weeks prior I had moved about 4 minutes away from Down syndrome of Louisville. That was my sign from God that this was a good thing. That lady stopped by the station where I was getting my hair done before she left and gave me a hug. I think I changed her mind that day. I think about her sometimes and hope she passed on what she learned from me. I'm grateful for the gift of Down syndrome and for that chance and every chance I get to share it.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. So, it's once again, it's about education. We're not here making political statements or whatever, but it's here to educate people. Because the termination rate is so high, there is still a lot of doctors who will push it. And we've had so many stories of people saying that their doctors uncomfortably pushed this on them, would go ahead and make appointments for them to have their baby terminated. And then we get lots of stories where people say they had a diagnosis of one thing or another, and then their child did not have that once they were born. So, they had been urged to terminate what, society would have considered a healthy baby. But, so we just want to highlight some of those, so many stories of mothers that went through something like this, but just to educate people, hey, learn more about it and what you're getting into. Don't just take a doctor's opinion only, educate yourself.
And I love that in the story that she changes the lady's mind,
Yeah.
that it doesn't just end on a negative note. And that just gives us hope for what we could do with this movie, that it's a tangible change that can take place in the world, that getting to that goal of $2 million means, boom, now we can move into production, make a movie that is going to go out into the world and make tangible change. And I just think this is so important because the movie is hoping to do what she just did there in that salon at large, multiple lives changed. Just like that, changing the perspective on it.
Yeah.
Just lost my son, Jacob, 17 years, 5 months, 3 days. Most wonderful life it made for me. True love is what I say. My whole heart. Yes, I will help in any way. Through his eyes, the world is so beautiful.
So once again, just, the heart that people are pouring out, sharing about their loved ones, this lady who lost her child, and we honor Jacob here on this live stream and with this movie. And that's, we want to help, if a little bit to heal and just carry on their name and in love to the rest of the world. So, once again, we get so many stories like this. I go and sit and read and try to answer, and I sit there and end up crying almost every night reading through these beautiful stories. So these are your stories. This is why we're doing this movie.
Exactly. My Lily has been the biggest blessing in my life. Terminating my pregnancy was definitely discussed by one of the doctors I saw once. I remember he said, God forbid she have Down syndrome with heart failure. She had both of those things, but I never wanted to not have her. And I am so thankful those words didn't get to me. I would be so heartbroken and lost without my sweet girl. She's had to go through so much, but I've never seen a baby happier than her. Her smile and laugh make my whole day. She will be a force in this crappy world. She has a heart of the purest of pure. I know without a doubt God gave her to me to change me in the best ways possible, to bring light to all that meet her. Lily is valued, loved, cherished by all that know her. Anyone that views these amazing people differently, well, you're missing out. Down syndrome means superhero in my eyes. You just keep watching as my star lights up this dark world.
Yeah. Once again, another refrain that we hear is just the blessings that these children bring to their families, their parents, their friends, everyone that meets them. And that's what we want to do. We want to show their value. and we want to spread the love that they have out to the world, and show what they can be.
Absolutely.
I was 15 when I got pregnant with my first son. When he was born, doctors said he had Down syndrome, and I said, and I knew what Down syndrome was. I had a friend whose aunt had Downs, and I thought she was the best friend ever. She was so loving, caring. And when I see my son, I fell more in love with him, and I knew I would know what real unconditional love would be like. So, once again, Jay is full of unconditional love. He shows it to us all the time. And we just want to share that with the world and show everybody what can be, if given a chance.
That's right. I think that unconditional love is a real thing that we can learn, and that we want to spread out there to the world with this movie. We need more of that.
Yes.
You want me to read this one?
Sure.
My son has enriched my life more than he would have if he'd been born without Down syndrome. Not for one moment am I suggesting it's not been a tiring journey, and my one concern is for him when I leave this world. But this film should help break the discrimination and fear towards people with an extra chromosome. They are just the same as us, but they don't discriminate. They just want to be themselves in a world of fearfulness and hate towards difference. Down syndrome is love. People with Down syndrome are worthy of love. Give so much love. They can teach us so much about love. Just what we were just talking about. Yeah. Reach out to a person you see with Down syndrome. It'll probably make you both smile.
I know it will absolutely make you both smile. And when we get to Jeff's story, you'll hear more of that. But
we'll get to a story right after this.
Several things in this post that I want to address. Individuals with Down syndrome are a lot like us. There's so many ways. They have so many emotions. There's a misnomer that they're always happy, and that's not true. They do. Everyone that I've met with Down syndrome has always possessed a certain amount of joy and love on a larger scale than a lot of humans that I know. But no child is easy. I mean, except you. You were so perfect. So what's the difference with someone with Down syndrome? You love them, and their love will bless you, tenfold. And just giving them the opportunity, once again, reach out to somebody with Down syndrome. It'll probably make you both smile, right? Because you're going to get blessed, and they're going to be received and accepted just like, anyone else. So I love this comment. Love it. Love it.
And now this will lead right into Jeff's story. And this was when we got to meet up with Jeff in person for the first time. We went down or up from where we are in Georgia. We went up to visit him to film him in his job for our promo. So if you go back and watch our promo on our website, you'll spot him in it. And this was the day we got that shot.
Yeah. So Jeff's story is a beautiful story. It's a transformative story. He's been affected by Made with Love. So Jeff, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how you came to know us and how it's.
Yeah. It's just, last year, Dawn Long, she's an incredible actress, and I had interviewed her about the movie Lifemark and stuff. And after Lifemark went, I didn't really, Roe v. Wade is overturned, and I'm a very big pro-life advocate, and she had sent me a message saying, I don't remember exact words, but it said, "Hey, check out this project. Give if you feel led to, and check it out." And I'm like, okay, so I looked at your website, looked at everything, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, somebody's making a movie about this. This is really cool. I mean, this is, because I had prayed, like, what next? What, am I going to interview more actors? Am I not, or whatever? But she sent me that, and so I got in touch with you two, and it just kind of went from there. And it was in October, and October is, if some don't know, is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. So you had just started a fundraising, a crowdfunding then, and the more, I watched all the videos. checked it all out, did an interview with you two, and David, you'd struck a nerve, and I've told you this so many times that you're like, I don't remember what my question was exactly, but what can we do? And you're like, get out there and do something, because something to that effect, and because anybody, no matter how busy you are, you can get out and interact, find an organization, find something, they're they may, like you said, and I've used this so many times before and on other interviews and other broadcasts and stuff, they may talk a little different, walk a little different, act a little different, but there's something about people with Down syndrome and all intellectual disabilities. It's hard to describe. It really is. You feel the love and joy. I even, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to do something. I don't know what, but I did a search of any local organizations anywhere and it took me a little bit, and I came across one here locally, and I'll mention them. I know that they may or may not watch this. I don't know. It's called the Possibility Place, and they are an organization kind of like somewhat similar. Jay goes to an organization called Happy Feet, and this place called Possibility Place, and they have classes with people with disabilities, intellectual disabilities. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there and check it out. Well, it turns out my assistant pastor's wife works there. So I talked to her at church a little bit once, and she's like, yeah, here, she gave me a card. So I went there and took a little tour and talked to the one of the directors there, and she I think she's program director, and she gave me a little tour. And she's like, we have to do some paperwork, background check you and stuff. If you're really interested, you really want to just spend a little time here, we'll take whatever you want to do. So I did. After a couple of weeks, I came back, spent a couple hours there, and out of about 40 kids, she said there's maybe 6 to 8 or that may have Down syndrome, but they're all so wonderful. Like you said, they're all wonderful. And it's, I couldn't wait to tell you about my experience. I think you remember, I think I called you up or emailed you, one of the two, and said, this is really cool. These kids, and there was, like 3, and I was in part of 2 different classes, just helping, color and cut and paste, helping them with the lessons and talking to them. And, there's one little girl, she just kept waving to me, and there's another kid next to me, and I was helping him, but you could just feel the love and joy that all was there. And it's like, I don't see disabilities anymore. I see abilities. And I started realizing, I'm like, this is like the school for the gifted, not the disabled. This is, there's just, I couldn't believe what once I got out and did something, what it was like. And then another time, I think I told you, I went there and they were doing, like, just before lunch, they have this little karaoke workout thing. They do the YMCA thing and all this stuff. I don't dance.
We've done that with Jay.
And I don't dance at all. I'm the last guy to ever go on the dance floor and do anything, because I just am that guy. I'd rather stand back and watch. But when a little girl with Down syndrome comes over and grabs your hand and takes you out to the floor, you dance and you feel, there's no anxiety. There's nothing. You're all just dancing around, wiggling. And he was just, I'm like, this is what he means. I'm like, this is what they're talking about. This is it. I get it. I'm like, this is so cool. I felt like my heart just grew. I was like, this is so cool. Anyway, that, going from learning about all kinds of things with Down syndrome, the 3 types of Down syndrome, and talking to other people's and other moms and dads, and on and on and on, it's just, I don't even really consider myself a podcaster, YouTuber. If I have to have a label, I'd rather be considered a Down syndrome advocate, or people that advocate for Down syndrome. That's why I tell people, because it just seems kind of weird to, oh, you're the YouTuber, the podcaster. I'm like, well, yeah, I do that too, but it's just, it's sometimes kind of hard to explain, especially if someone doesn't see it or doesn't get it. But I always tell people, be open to it. you know, they're just such wonderful people. And I love, you know, when I meet somebody, like I met somebody today, James, you know, it's just, and I know they seen the passion that I have in my face when I'm, you know, meet people and talk to people about it. It's, you know, it's just wonderful. And I thank God every day that he used Dawn and you guys and many others in my life that brought it to my attention. I'm like, whew, this is so cool. I get it. And they're making a movie about it.
Yeah.
You know, I just
It's
love
a beautiful story, man. It's a beautiful story. That's what we want to do. We
Yes.
want to touch people, change hearts, change minds, educate, and raise awareness.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We appreciate you and all you do.
Yes, really. And we're grateful that we get to be on this podcast with you right now.
You know, a lot of times, and I know a lot of people feel this way, even you know, I wish there was more we could do, but we only have so much time and hours and money and all that kind of stuff there, you know, but we just keep trucking on and doing what God wants us to do.
Even if it's just a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a little.
Even the little things add up.
Yeah. So is it time for the Q&A? Do we have some questions that we want to look at from?
Yes, it is. It is Q&A time. So if you want to send questions now, you still can, but we're going to go ahead and prioritize. Somebody is saying, what was the name of that organization? I think that's for you, Jeff.
Me.
Possibility Place?
Mm-hmm.
Possibility Place?
Possibility Place.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, let's get into this Q&A here. So the first comment we got was, hi, how far along are you with the project? I would love to be a part of it. I'm a writer and casting director.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you, Laura. I wrote it. It's written. It's been making the film festival circuits. It's won over 40 awards. So not sure we need your writing services. Casting depends on where you are. We do have a good friend of ours, Mark Fincannon, who's a casting director here in Atlanta, Emmy Award-winning casting director who's 100% involved. But, you know, get in touch with us and let us know. We'll take all the help we can get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah, you can reach out to us. How have people been reaching out to you? DMing on Facebook, the private message on Facebook?
You can do that on Facebook. There's should be an email address on our website down at the bottom.
Madewithlovethemovie.com. Go to the website. You'll find our email at the bottom.
But yeah, we're still raising the money right now.
All right. Very good. And then,
yeah. So
how can we help make this movie? Coming in from Amy Flowers.
Yeah.
Big supporter of us.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's by spreading the word. You know, sure, we'll take your donations because you got to have money to make the film. But any resources, I mean, like that person offering help as casting or writing. I mean, we've had somebody that's a food stylist reach out to us. Somebody that's in set design. You know, I had a producer reach out to me today. So whatever it might be, whether it's, you know, donating money, whether it's your services, spreading the word on, you know, social media is a big help. So.
Yes. And if there's some piece of our content that you want to share to your social media, you're wondering, is there a best video to share that we've made? If you go to our Facebook, and I think I actually had this in one of our slides that it showed our Facebook and our Instagram. You can see on our Facebook, we've got a featured pinned post on there. Yeah. And same with Instagram. It's that very first one. It says in a lead role, and it's Jay mixing a mixing bowl. So those are our pinned posts, and those are always, whatever's pinned is a great thing to share because that's our promo, and it has a lot of comments on there of people who are on board with this. So when people see all the comments, they go, this is happening. This is something to get a part of. So our next comment was, is this based on a true story?
Yeah, so thank you, Grace, for your question. It is inspired by a true story. A lot of the elements in the script are things that we learned about Jay. Mm-hmm. I mean, the role that Jay will play is the role of Jay. I mean, I wrote it with him in mind. People that know Jay and read the script are like, oh my goodness, that's Jay. And I'm like, yep. So what you will see in the movie is full on our friend Jay.
Right.
But you know, it's inspired. So I'll say
Mr. Morrow, our other lead role, is not a real person that we know, at least.
well, I had Mr. Morrow as an elementary school teacher, so
Well, he's based off somebody in your life, not somebody that Jay has ever crossed
Right.
paths with.
Right.
So that's the fictional part, is that crossing their paths.
Yeah.
But you know, really, Jay has crossed our paths. Jay has crossed his adopted mother Dawn's path.
Yeah.
You know, so it's inspired by real things that have happened. Just putting that fictional spin with Mr. Morrow's sort of character arcs. That way, we really can relate to his journey.
yes.
Then, all right, I think that's the last of our questions we have. I just saw this one that said, I met Jay 15 plus years ago, and he talked about being a movie star way back then. So I didn't, you know, that's just a testament that we're not making this up, that he wants to be a movie star. He's been talking about it, and he reminds everybody everywhere he goes. He's an amazing guy. He so deserves this. Thank you for all you're doing to help. We love you, Jay.
That's right.
So, and we love you, Heidi and Mark. Thank you so much for, look, 15 years ago, and now here you are on a stream tonight. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Let's see if we have any other questions. Don Long, big supporter of us. You know, once again, Don, this is the Don that got Jeff involved with us. So it's like, wow, we wouldn't even be doing this stream if it weren't for Don Long.
That's right. Thank you, Don Long, the original super fan. We have, you know, these super fans, they challenge each other. It's kind of a, you know, a little contest there, so you can be the most super fan. You guys are all super fans. Is this film a nonprofit? So we formed a nonprofit in order to help raise the money to make this film. When you're an independent filmmaker like Jackson and I are, you do it by any means possible. So going the crowdfunding route, we thought it would be beautiful if it were donations, so that it's truly made with love. And so that's what we did. We formed a nonprofit called Share the Love Media, and it's a 501(c)(3), so any donations are, you know, get the tax break. And the money that goes there will be used to help develop and get this film made. But it will also be a nonprofit that will continue to make inspiring, uplifting content, films that highlight and raise awareness for marginalized people groups. I have 6 screenplays myself that are all those types of films. So we hope that this nonprofit will just continue on in the future and help bring other voices to the forefront, other filmmakers to the forefront, and help them get their films made. So
I don't see any other questions here. We've reached the end of our questions. We've gotten this comment that I saw while we were reading some of our comments. It's like, wow, this is just another story, just like some of the stories that we had highlighted.
Yeah.
So thank you, Miss Sandra, for being on here tonight and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for joining on. Hey, the party isn't done. We're going to end off with a 30-second dance party. So, Mr. Jeff, if you can.
Because, you know, I've heard that like the extra chromosome in Down syndrome is like the chromosome of love, but it's also, I've heard it called the dance chromosome. So, you know, to honor our friends with Down syndrome, we're going to dance it out.
That's right.
So if you'll hit
I'll let you two do the honors. I'll run the music.
Music, and you'll have to cut the stream off. Cut us off at 30 seconds.
Alrighty, guys.
And if you want to jam along, anybody watching, join in, record yourself, and send it to us later and tag us. Much love. Jeff, can we get that music going from the beginning?
Uh-oh, he cut it out.
Wait. This is more my kind of jam.
Oh, okay.